Welcome Wargamers to a very brief video that I am doing. My name is Kieran and I am just going to take you through today a list that I have knocked together for the Battle of Borough-Dur, which is a tournament that is being run at the Bad Moon Cafe next week. I think the organiser for it is Sam Palmer, and he has decided to run an escalation tournament. Now what this means is that you are able to take a force for 400 points, play 2 games, and then after that you get to add another 250 points to that for 650 total. As you can see, I am going in with Numenor. I believe that this army before you is pretty much a good example of an army that I've advised you not to take in the Build Me an Army video for Numenor. And the reason for that is because I have taken Elendel, and at 400 points he is almost on the nose half of my army list. As you can see, he hasn't got a shield on the model, and I just couldn't bring myself around to trying to put one on. So I am going to be running him without a shield for the tournament. With his Hero of Legend status, he is able to take 18 warriors with him, and I've maxed out on all of those, including a banner. That guy at the front isn't actually a hornblower, he's just a guy with a horn. I don't know how well you can see the models, the lighting here is not great. So yeah, this is pretty much my list. I've got the maximum number of archers I can take, a banner, and all the remaining points I've got have pretty much been put onto adding spears over shields. I am playing at about 10 points down, so in theory I could have upgraded a few of the extra shields to spears, but I didn't really see much more benefit that I'd be getting from them because those shield guys will probably be in the front rank anyway. On top of that, the list is pretty low on numbers and pretty low on might. I can't remember the last time that I went into a tournament with less than, well, maybe 6 might at this level, but, well, maybe 5 might. I've only got 3 might, so I'm hoping that Elendel can steal the show and use heroic combat to try and even things up and maybe force my opponents to spend more might. I've only seen one other person's list for this tournament so far, so yeah, I'm not really thinking that the lower point army list is going to do me too well. The reason that I've taken Elendel in this list rather than, say, Isildur, who is probably the person I should be taking at this point in the list, is that the only other way that I could fill the points out while staying to pure Numenor is to take a Numenor captain. And while that would be really good at the 400 points, it then forces me to have to include a captain at the higher points. So maybe the list I should have been taking is Isildur and 2 captains at 650, but I wanted to use Elendel, and I didn't really want to rush painting up another captain, even one on horseback, which I am still working on, but I just don't like rushing models, even for tournaments nowadays, especially if I've got other things that I can use instead. That's just really because as I've gotten older, I prefer to put more effort into the models, and again, I don't think they're looking too great on this one, but hey, I like them, and they were a fun army to work on. So that's my 400 point list. It's only got 19 models and 3 might to take on the world. Hopefully I'll get lucky with my opponents, or with the lists they've taken, or hopefully the scenarios, but yeah, I'm not expecting the first 2 games to be particularly easy. Moving on to the 650, it's as before, but adding Isildur and his warband in. So overall that will give me 6 might, 2 quite powerful mounted heroes, and pretty much as close to the maximum number of troops I can take. There are a couple of models missing from this. There is a spearman whose spears come off that I need to fix, and there is also an additional bowman that I need to paint up this week. My 650 is like a point down, so I'm playing at 649. I could take an additional spear, but I just didn't want to risk having to paint up 2 additional Numenorians for this. I know I can get through 1 fairly easily, and I may just decide to do a batch and bring my total number of Numenorians up to 36, which is the maximum number of models I've got aside from a captain conversion I'm working on. Yeah, I mean, overall I think the list at 650's probably got a lot more potential just because I've got 2 heroes, so if something happens to one I've got another to cover, and I've got a good number of warriors as well. What's it? I'm playing at 34 models, I think, so 32 warriors total. I really enjoy using Numenor, to be honest. They seem to be a pretty solid army. They could do with some more troop options. They could definitely do with like an elite class, I think. But for now, they're pretty good. They've got a decent courage, decent fight value, and decent strength. The only thing that really tends to let them down sometimes is their defense values. But fingers crossed that between them, Elendil, Isildur, and the rest of the army can do some damage. Yeah. My motivation for taking Numenor for this was, again, I do have other armies, but these guys are painted up, and I really wanted to give them like one last try. I'm also hoping that at the end of the event, throughout the event, to take lots of pictures, and hopefully put that up as a video for you guys with, a sort of a post-battle talk through. All depends on how much I remember to do on the day and whether I can actually remember to take some pictures while I'm out there. Did I mention Chris before? Chris Dan is also going to this tournament, and I think he actually won it last year. So hopefully we'll be able to get some videos up of both of our armies and how they did, with like a talk through about what the pros and cons of this particular lists or the missions that we played were. As far as I know, this is going to be using the new match playbook. A lot of scenarios in there that are completely new to the community and to the meta, so it'll be interesting to see what people have brought and how they've adjusted to that. My ambition for the event, it would be really nice to have 2 victories, but it all comes down to who you play on the day. There are some really, really good players in the league now, and pretty much any event that you could pick to go to, you're almost guaranteed to meet at least 2 or 3 people who really know how to play their armies and what they're doing on the field. My ambition really for the day is just to have fun. I won't say no to going to 2 victories in 4 games, but you never know. It all comes down to what your matchup is and how you play the scenarios, and sometimes a bit just whether you get lucky and get the right draw or the right dice roll when you need it. That's pretty much it for now. I can't really think of much more to talk you through. I will put up a full list of the exactly what's in there, but they're Numenor, they don't have a great deal of options. It's pretty much banner, spears, shields, and max limit of bows. So fingers crossed it will be a fun event. I haven't actually been down to Bad Moon Cafe before, but the stuff that I've heard about the place makes it sound like it's pretty good. Sam Palmer I've met on a few occasions. He's dropped by the Strider Cup and been a pretty cool player when he's been around. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what how he's designed his own event, and maybe even hearing a bit more about some of the other events that he's got planned for the year. I think he's still involved with the Grand Tournament, not the Games Workshop official one, the one that is run as an independent one where they run everything. So they do 40k narrative, Warhammer Fantasy. Do they run Warhammer Fantasy? They might just do Age of Sigmar. I haven't really checked it out. But it's really good to see that there's a Lord of the Rings section for that now as well. Gives players more options and more things to do. Yeah, so that's it for me, and hopefully in a week's time I will have an update with how I've done, and we may even see if Chris and I can get together so that we both talk about our games at the same time. But thank you for listening to me rambling on, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Have fun.